All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig. You are through to the Combat Show. Joining me, as always, is one of my co-hosts, Will. Say hello to the people, Will.
Hello, how you doing, people?
Now, there is no Ola because Ola has decided he wants to work.
He's running.
A guest. Can you believe this? Honestly, no helping some people. But how are you? How are you, Will?
Good? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm over DC now.
You're over DC. You're looking forward to the boxing.
Yes, sir.
Probably going to hate on Eddie Hearn anyway.
Well. That's why I didn't even go through the card. I hope you got the list because you know how.
Don't worry, I'll pick it up.
Gotcha.
No problem. And knowing our guest, he probably has the list up as well. Because joining me is a return, but it's the first time he's been on the show since we kind of remodeled the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
But joining me as always is a big boxing fan. You guys should know him as well. Mr. Kenny Ken. Say hello to the people, Kenny.
Hi guys. Nice to meet you, Will, as well. Yeah,
nice to meet you too.
I think what's happened is that you got to shake. Regardless of what you think of Sky's domination of boxing and Matchroom's domination of all the fighters, Eddie Hearn's managed to pull it off. You know, without no fans. You know, a lot of.
UFC's been doing it for a while. And that's
the thing. UFC's been fantastic because I think what's happened as well is that they've taken a very like business-like to the whole thing. It's like I speak to Chig regularly. My attitude is the wheel has to turn. I know there's some difficult times, but if you look at the cases that we have in hospitals, not all of them are COVID-19 cases. The deaths are dropping as well. And what we're having now is that we're having a lot of people losing their jobs. And when you lose your jobs and you don't see where the next pennies come from, that can lead to mental health and suicide as well. So all these people like Piers Morgan, you know, all these people on Twitter are saying void the league or do this and that. Well, the consequences of COVID-19 is 55 people at Arsenal lost their jobs and many more at other football clubs lost their jobs. And people in boxing are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Fighters, a lot of fighters, you know. I was on a show with a guy called Sam Cook. He's lost £7,000 on a camp.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So because he's not able to fight.
Yeah.
So he's not being able to fight.
Mad.
There's many other fighters. You know,
mad.
I was watching a podcast with David Price. He doesn't know where he's coming to go, and he was meant to have a fight. And you've got Dave Allen. They're all in limbo, and it's so. You know, when people, you know, try to do a Piers Morgan, try to be do-gooders, and so, yeah, it's all about your health, man. Yeah, health before wealth. Well, speak to a few boxers.
Yeah.
Speak to a few, you know, civilian workers at football clubs and tell them that. And tell you one thing, you'll be head first out the window if you told them that.
I completely agree with you. I think you're right. It is people's... You know, people are fighting not because they want to risk their health, but they've got bills to pay just like everyone else. So I'm totally with you in that regard. I must admit, so I'm looking through the fight card here. To be honest, a lot of these guys I've seen box maybe once or twice. I know some of the fighters. Kenny, are you familiar with some of the fighters that you have on the card? Like we've got, for example, Ellen Babak versus Shadwell Winters. Now, I've heard of Ellen Babak. I've never heard of Shadwell Winters.
I think we'll say is that the welterweight fight?
Yeah, it's it's a heavyweight contest. So an heavyweight.
Oh, you mean the Savage? I know what you're talking about. I forgot about that. One of the heavyweight contests is one of the guys was trained with Dillian Whyte.
Yes.
Yeah, and his nickname's Savage, and there was a bit of a set to between him and Winters. One of the earlier, like I said, head to heads. But he's been like doing sparring practice with Dillian Whyte in Portugal. One thing about this fight, if you look at the weight of both fighters, they might as well be cruiserweights.
Oh, really? What did they weigh in at?
Well, like Winters is coming under 14 stone, and like I said, the Savage is coming at 14 and a half stone. So that's so you are going to see you are going to see a lot of speed for two big men. But
That should be good then.
Yeah, so you might as well be watching a lower weight fight because you won't be seeing much, like I said, much power. But
yeah,
you never know in boxing anyway. I'm sure it won't be a left hook to the temple. It'll probably be a body shot win the fight.
Okay.
Well, all right. So let's go through the fight card, and then we'll kind of pick out predictions and how the fight will play out. Just before we get into it, obviously we now know that the winner of the main event gets a title shot, and essentially it's a chance for Dillian Whyte to finally get a title shot after 1,000 days. I think, Kenny Ken, we last had you on the show just as Dillian Whyte became number one. That's how long ago this whole situation has lasted for. What do you think about this whole way? I'll come to Will shortly.
Well, I think the thing about the Dillian Whyte, a lot of boxing fans need to be very careful about what they wish for. Because I could tell you categorically now, Tyson Fury, right, in my opinion, has fallen out of love with boxing.
Okay.
I
love this take because I'll get your take on this now.
Yeah, sure. It's not so much that the rigors, like I said, the promotion, your training, and you got to realise this is a man who struggled very, very, still struggles with his mental health. So Tyson Fury's probably got about maybe 2 fights in him. So he's not going to wait. He's not going to wait too long for the Joshua fight that a lot of casual boxing fans want. So you may find that Dillian Whyte is fighting for the WBC championship because I think in terms of like getting Tyson Fury out of bed, there's only 2 fights that are going to get Tyson Fury out of bed. Deontay Wilder, because as far as he's concerned, Deontay Wilder's probably given him his kick back into boxing and kick back into making millions of pounds. So he owes him a rematch, and he wants to like I said, give him a chance to get his belt back. Anthony Joshua, because of the demands of the public. But any other fight, I don't see him getting out of bed for that, and that's why you probably won't see Tyson Fury fighting it again in probably 18 months, 2 years time, because of simple reasons that it's hard for Tyson Fury with his mental health to go through those rigors, not so much physically, but the mental side of it, the promotion side of it.
Hold on. 2 seconds. I have to wrestle my dog off my lap.
Hey, that's a biggie, mate. Is that Pitbull?
No, it's not. It's a Springer. It's a Springer. Babe, can you call Luna? Because she's getting my nerves. Sorry, guys. Well,
that's cool. I'll say
what's your take, Will?
I'll say like my man Frank Warren said. It's not. The thing is, right? I get the whole they're trying to put what's his name, Whyte there and everything, but it's not about the belt when it comes to these fights. And I've been said this to you guys. It's about the fight. Whatever happens, it's about the fight. It's not about the belt. The belt just puts the cherry on top of everything, right? But it's not about the belt because, all right, let's just say, Tyson Fury doesn't fight Whyte. They give the belt to Whyte. Joshua beats Whyte. Now, how many people will tell you Joshua's not the legitimate champion because he never beat the real champion that had it? That's boxing for you.
Definitely everyone in Fury's camp. That's what I'm sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's boxing for you.
Yeah, but
that's why he's never respected Joshua because he never lost them belts that Joshua's got. Remember, Fury had all the belts that Joshua's got now. That's why he never respects him.
The thing is, Will. Yeah, but the thing is, Will, though, I hear what you're saying, but time waits for no one in sport. I mean, if Fury's had his problems with narcotics and he's giving up his belts, the wheels still have to turn, and sometimes, right, it's easy for Fury to say that, but you got to ask yourself a question: if he didn't have his problems, if he's more dedicated to the sport, then he wouldn't have this issue where he's telling Joshua, well, you're not a real champion. You didn't beat me. If he was an active champion, then we would have had a chance to see it. And that's one of the things about the whole.
I get it, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that he will still think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what has happened or what hasn't happened. He will still think, well, nobody beat me. It's just like Ali respecting what's his name, Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Frazier never beat him to take the belt, but Frazier had a belt when he came. Never respected him when he came. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do hear it. I do hear it, but I say sometimes, right? I feel for the fighter who's got the belt because for no fault of his own,
he's just done what he had to do. Yeah, he's just done what he had to do.
But I look at it this way: if Tyson Fury doesn't want to defend his belt against Dillian Whyte, then he's in no position to say that. Oh, I'm the real champ.
I'm the real champ. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Wait. So hold up.
If you vacate the belt,
the
belt, then you're not the champion no more.
Yeah, but
it's your choice to vacate the belt.
Yeah. They'll take the belt away from it. But were you guys? Hang on a minute. Were you guys not rejoicing about a month ago when Eddie Hearn announced that they've had a fight agreement with Tyson Fury? Were you guys all not rejoicing?
No, I'm against it. I'll tell you why I'm against it.
I was too.
I'm against Tyson Fury. I'm against the Tyson Fury Joshua fight on principle because what's happened? Because really and truly is that it's a casual boxing fan's wet dream.
Yeah.
Because I can understand that if you look at boxing, right, what puts money into Sky Sports box office and bums and seats is the casual boxing fan. Now, the casual boxing fan isn't going to be watching go to Bethnal Green or probably go to watch like your bread and butter fights.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to like the Islam boxing club to watch a few youngsters like prepare for the ABAs. All he and she's interested in is getting their best clothes on, buying a ticket, and go and watch the big fight. Me and my wife have been to so many boxing meets all over the country where when the big fights comes up, that's when they all turn up. And then if there's a couple of fights afterwards, they all go home. So, but they're the ones who put the money on bums and seats. So I do understand from what you're saying. I do understand. But if you look at what Dillian Whyte has done, how many times does a man have to be denied his right to the belt when these fighters are fighting hand-picked opponents? I mean, Tyson Fury's performance after the first Wilder fight were just ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. You know what, Ken? You and I agree on one thing because I was the one fighting Whyte's corner. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I was the one fighting Whyte's corner saying, no, Whyte deserves the Fury fight. Or he deserves a thingy fight. What's his name? A Joshua fight. Whichever champion, he deserves a title shot. Yeah, because he's been going about his business beating credible guys as well. Right? Yeah, credible guys as well. But never got the chance. And I said, what? So they shafted him. Eddie shafted him for his main golden goose, right? So why are we now here with this whole Whyte has to I don't get Eddie. I really don't get Eddie because last month they agreed for a Joshua fight. Now this month, he's campaigning for Whyte to do it. So what's gonna actually happen when we get there? Because according to him, Joshua's already signed to fight Fury. So after Wilder fight,
he signed to fight Fury, not for the belt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he signed to fight Fury.
Yeah, next.
Yeah. Fury's prepared to fight him without the belt.
Well, but then again, Joshua is going to have to vacate some of his belts because he's got to fight Pulev.
Yeah, so I think that will happen.
And Usyk, but they're not going to.
He'll fight Pulev, but I don't think he'll fight Usyk.
This is the thing. They're not going to let him vacate the belt. They're not going. He's got too much. You know how belts do, right? Is a guy who has the most money that the commission hopes has the belt. The guy who brings in the most money. That's why they were happy to give Mayweather belts. They were happy to give him title fight after title fight after title fight because they knew he raked in the money.
Well, he definitely Anthony Joshua's not.
I'm glad Ola said that because I was going to defend myself. So I'm glad Ola said that.
Yeah, I think with Anthony is that Anthony's not just a stadium fighter or crossover fighter for the casual boxing fans. He's a pay-per-view fighter as well. And I think the reason why Dillian Whyte, if you think that Dillian Whyte's got a short straw from Eddie, is because Anthony Joshua is Eddie's Carl Froch. Remember Carl Froch for pay-per-view against Sky?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be.
I love you, Ken. I love you, Ken.
He was the poster boy for Sky for the pay-per-views. So for instance, and as much as George Groves did all the promotion for the rematch at Wembley, it was actually Carl Froch, his name, that was on the paper. But George Groves should have got the most money because he's the one who sold the fight. You know what I mean? And I think Anthony Joshua is the same thing. You've got to realise with Sky Sports box office, Tony Bellew is out of a job. So's Alan Woolhouse. So's
Kell Brook got his all cheeks done in.
Yeah, definitely. And people like Johnny Nelson, Carl Froch, all these people, and Adam Smith. Without Anthony Joshua winning, they're out of a job because they can't sell their shows without Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Dillian Whyte's the next best thing.
Shows,
Dillian Whyte, right, is the equivalent of basically the equivalent of the Europa League, and Anthony Joshua's the Champions League. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing with boxing. Boxing's all about being a TV fight. You can be the best fighter in the world, like Harold Graham was at his weight before he lost to Samuel Kalambe in '87, but you wouldn't. He doesn't sell.
Every now and again, though, in the Europa League, the champions of the Europa play the champions of the Champions League. Now and again.
Yeah, that's only after they lose. That's only after they lose.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. That's what you know what I'm trying to say. But I just don't like Eddie, how he flip flops, and you know me, chick. I'm a man of you how do I say, keep the same energy, right? That's one of my statements. Keep the same energy. You can't say this 1 minute and then the next minute you're saying, I get that he's a promoter. But he just and he's everywhere because he's on Sky. He's everywhere. He owns Sky basically. The other channel is BT Sports. Yeah, and BT is not as big as Sky. Yeah.
But may I suggest one thing about Eddie, although you don't like him? The thing that Eddie does better than Frank is all about boxing fans like us. He couldn't give a rat's ass about a boxing fan.
Yeah. Until recently, Frank Warren didn't do any YouTube interviews or anything like that. But I think he's now starting to understand that he's going to have to embrace social media
and definitely
to market his product. He's going to have to.
Definitely. But if you think about it, is that Frank Warren is only about us lot. Eddie Hearn understands and respects the fact that the casual boxing fan is not your bread and butter fan. But he understands that a casual boxing fan only want big fights because he doesn't want them to go over to your UFC. You know what I mean? He doesn't want Dana White who I think is just a pain in the arse anyway. To like I said, produce songs. With UFC. Doesn't matter how good you are, mate. If you're the best in the world, you're fighting the number two. There's no protecting your records. And being a touring champion, like you get in some fights, like you did in the before Sky came along, and Frank Warren got his act together. Before UFC's never been like that, and that's what it's basically its selling point. We're not like boxing. The best fight the best. No one ducks anyone. You fight the best. That's how they sell it, and they deliver it all the time.
Yeah,
like you have to look at who's that woman in UFC? She's now at WWE. What's her name again?
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, right, was the best. Was the poster girl of the UFC, but she was never getting an easy ride. So they still put her in with Holly Holmes, who was a boxer who had a good chance of beating. And guess what? She got battered.
Mm-hmm.
And then Holly Holmes in the next couple of fights, she got battered because she's the best. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor fights the best. Has got battered in a couple of fights because he fights the best. He's not going to go around protecting his records. And I think that's, you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fair point you made.
But shouldn't that be the case though? Shouldn't that be the case though? This is what boxing was like from the 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s.
TV
50s.
came along. TV came along, and then
I was just about to get to the 70s. As soon as we got to the 70s, things started going left a little bit, started becoming a little bit of a, do you know what I mean? But still, the best always fought the best. Yeah, the best, or even all the way up to the early 90s, the best always fought the best. Not when they were past their prime.
Yeah, but you look at the golden age of American boxing in the 80s. The golden age of American boxing was the middleweights and the welterweights, where you had Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, and then underneath that you had people like Wilfred Benitez and all those sort of players. They all
Benitez,
yeah. But what's happened, right, is that they all got called the best of the best, but they never used to really fight each other. They all protected their records.
They all protect the records. They all fought each other.
Until the public cry for it was too much. Sugar Ray Leonard would never have beaten Marvin Hagler if he had fought him in 1984-85.
First off, Kenny Ken, and you're giving Sugar Ray a little bit of a mountain to climb in the 84 because Sugar Ray is a welterweight, and what's his name? Marvin's a middleweight, so it's a big, they're 2 weight differences.
But Sugar Ray held the light heavyweight championship.
Oh, that was after he grew big. He couldn't.
He grew big. Yeah, but he fought Donny Long. But you know, Sugar Ray Leonard fought like I said, Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
In 81, and then Tommy Hearns in 85. In 83, fought Roberto Duran, and in 85, he moves up to middleweight to fight Marvin Hagler. So it can be done. But what's happening? All I'm trying to say is all of those fighters, in one way or the other, protected their records. We call them great fight. Yeah, we call them greats, but they were how do I call it? Arse protectors. It's true, weren't they?
But
laughing. Look, she's laughing at my
listen, I agree, but I know he's going to argue, so I'm anticipating the argument.
Yeah.
Oh no, not even like that. Yeah, not even like that. But what I'm trying to say is, but still now, people pad up their records more than back then. Yeah, the 80s was still they still fought each other. However way you cut it, they still fought each
eventually.
And plus, Marvin Hagler wasn't even in the equation then when these three started. When it was Duran, what's his name? Sugar.
It was a 5 foot. It was a southpaw. No one likes fighting southpaws, do they?
I know, but he was in the middleweight. He was up there until these guys gained weight.
Yeah,
and then they go up there. That's when it became part of the four-headed monster. Before it was just 3 heads. Actually, it was 4 because Wilfred Benitez was still down there.
Yeah.
But when Benitez left, that's when Hagler came in to join. And they all, like I said, they all fought each other. Whichever way you cut it, they all fought each other.
Eventually.
Still did. It won't surprise me now if Joshua never fights Wilder.
I don't think he'll fight Fury. I think he's more likely to fight Wilder than Fury. Seriously.
Wow. Are you going to fight Fury?
Wow.
I don't see that fight happening because the reason Tyson Fury won't wait. If the rules are met and everyone follows their stipulation, Tyson Fury won't hang around. Because simple reasons that you only have to watch Tyson Fury closely over the next few months, and you'll find that mentally he hasn't got enough left in this game.
I'm kind of with you, but I feel like he'll regret it if he doesn't fight Joshua.
I think his mental health is more important to him than that. I
kind of agree, but I know this is going to be a weak point, but just bear with me for a second because I'm going to have
okay.
Right? He does have 2 fights on his contract left,
and
I feel like for me, he'll want to. He contractually has to fight Wilder anyway, which you think might just about happen. But I just feel like there'll be. Let's just assume he wins that fight. See, if he loses against Wilder, I think I agree with your point. But I think if he beats Wilder, I think he will mentally drive himself into that fight. I can't see a second fight between those 2 happening though. I can only see that being a 1-fight deal.
I
know they've signed a 2-fight deal. I can only see it being a one fight thing.
Well, if you got to remember one thing, right, is that we're in danger of missing out on the fights we want to see, and that's the thing with boxing in that. And the good it's not so much a bad thing anyway, because you got to realise there's some bloody really good fighters out there. I mean, in any other era, Dillian Whyte is like is basically a 2-weight heavyweight champion, and this is a geezer that hasn't boxed. He's only had 7 amateur fights, and he's learnt on the job. But yeah, all right, culture medium. I hear
that's
you.
what I was trying to say. He was too small to begin with.
Yeah,
he grew bigger, but he was retired before he fought Hagler. So he came out of retirement to fight Hagler.
Yeah.
No, it's you lot are real active now. We talk about boxing. All the chat room are so active. Like
I know it's mad, isn't it?
It's active.
No,
wow.
I think in terms of Dillian Whyte, well, because we're going to get to his fight later, but what a remarkable situation. Because me and my wife used to go to Dillian Whyte's early fights, and we're actually at the fight at the O2 between him and Joshua. Yeah. And me and my wife were looking at his conditioning was terrible.
Oh yeah.
His feet were horrible. His when you threw punches, when he threw punches, he looked off balance, and I said, "Hang on here." He buzzed Joshua, but he
buzzed Joshua with one of these, and his face was down, and there was just an overhand hook, left hook that got him.
Yeah, and the thing is, Joshua was basically ready to go.
Yeah,
Dillian Whyte just didn't have the fitness to see it off.
Yeah,
that's in the second round.
Dillian is a lot better technically now. He's a lot better fighter, a lot more rounded. I think. I mean, looking at him weighing in today, he looks in superb shape today. He looks ready for tomorrow, and I think we'll definitely. Do you know what? Forget. Go on. Let's just focus on the 2 fights, the co-main and the main. Because that's where the meat and potato is. That's where
but before we get there, can I say one thing before you get to Whyte? Yeah, I don't know. I've got a problem with Whyte too much, and it really it was more so the last 3 fights he fought that I've had a problem with him.
Okay, I can see that.
Parker and both Chisoras. For me, what he did to Parker in the first 11 rounds and what Parker did to him in the 12th round just makes me a little bit scared for him when he comes to these big punches. Because for me, Parker's not a great big puncher.
And I said that to you before, to be fair to me.
But Dillian was exhausted, though. Dillian was exhausted. You know your mate, Victorious Maslow, you are right, mate. Tyson Fury, on his day, can beat any other heavyweight. But you've got to realise in boxing, if you're not 100% at it, you're going to get buzzed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You get buzzed. It doesn't matter how good you are. Better fighters than Tyson Fury have got buzzed.
Oh, he won't like the next comment. Will, you won't like this comment.
Go on.
He maybe can't box. He maybe can't box, but look, he put Tyson Fury in his ass a couple of times.
Let me just say this. My whole point of liking Wilder comes from the fact that the guy cannot box and has still schooled boxers in the ring until Fury.
He shocked people out. Listen, you can't.
That's what I'm trying to say. He can't box. He should not. He should not last 2 rounds with anyone.
Will is correct in what he's saying.
Yeah, he should not last 2 rounds with anyone.
A lot.
Yeah. He should not last 2 rounds with anyone.
At the end of the day, he's a world champion. You can't take that away from him.
That's my thing for him.
Listen, as much as I'm convinced that if, like Kenny Ken, taking into account what Kenny Ken has said, if Fury gets back into the ring and fights Wilder, most of me is sure that Fury win. I can't say for certain though, because how can you discount someone that can punch like Wilder? You can't. He is the literal definition of a puncher's chance.
Yep.
The literal definition. So I can't count him out. Yes, I think Fury would win. I do think he wins again, but I can't say for certain.
For 36 minutes, you'll be thinking, "Oh, it could come now. It could come now." For 36 minutes. That's how Wilder gets you.
I've got a question for Victorious Matler. I hear what you're saying, mate. But if Wilder was fighting at Joshua, who do you think will win that? Because I think that your points will be a lot different. So that's a question to Victorious Matler.
Big Ken, tell him.
I'll let Victorious Matler answer that because I think.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
Big Ken, tell him.
I think Wilder would knock Joshua clean out.
Thank you very fucking much. Thank you very fucking much.
I don't think so.
Look,
I think he knocks him
it's
clean
about
out.
the chin. It's about the chin. It ain't about skills. It's about
Chin-wise, I'm with you.
That's all it's about. That's all it's about. It's a shootout. It's a shootout. That's what. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's a shootout.
All Joshua has to do to beat Deontay Wilder is just do what Fury did in the second fight. And you know what? Andre Ward did to Quail Froch
in his chest. In his chest.
Get in his chest. Give him no leverage. And Joshua wins that fight. But if
Josh can't do that.
If Joshua gives him leverage, he's on the floor, mate. He's on the floor.
I disagree with you too. I disagree with you. I think AJ has him. But Will knows this already. I'm not high on Wilder, and I have a little more faith in AJ. So, but I've always said it, to be fair to me, just to show you I'm not biased, I've said it straight. I think Fury beats AJ every time. I think Usyk beats AJ every time.
I don't know.
I've always said for me,
I don't know about that.
One of the secrets of beating AJ, one of them, is that lateral movement. I fear for AJ if he takes that Usyk fight.
Look. Let me put it this way. I'm
praying for him.
Let me put it this way. For the AJ Usyk thing, AJ has got the same chance Wilder has got against him versus Usyk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Because for me, Usyk, that is not a hard puncher. He builds up.
And he's technically so good, man.
Yeah, but he builds up. And by that time, Joshua would have had a few shots to soften him up. A little bit. He would have had a few shots to soften him up. And then...
Do you think AJ beats him?
I think AJ has got a puncher's chance of knocking him the fuck out.
Does Wilder beat him, in your opinion?
I think Wilder's got a puncher's chance of knocking him the fuck out. He's too small. He's too small.
People are unsure about Usyk. I suppose I can understand the question.
You know Wilder's going to knock out Usyk. Do you remember when Wilder fought? What's that? When Wilder?
I know who you're talking about. That
the Southpaw. When he fought.
Forgot his name.
Spilker.
When Spilker tried to fight, he put the left hand out.
He was winning a lot of that fight.
And Wilder just did a sidestep, saw the gap, right hand. Bang, out cold, and that's what's going to happen.
Straight down the gullet, yeah.
And the thing is, and when Wilder catches you cleanly,
you said that about Phil, but to be honest, you can look at the Ortiz fight for that. The Ortiz fight was the same thing. Ortiz was doing this thing, and then I think Wilder saw something.
Let me make it easy for you, Chick. Let me make it easy for you, Chick. Wilder rarely wins rounds.
Yeah,
rarely wins rounds. I'll tell you that.
He's not a technical guy that way. I know.
Nah, he rarely, but he can win a fight easily.
That's the thing. It's that right hand. I ain't gonna lie, I'm terrified.
He wins a fight easier than he wins a round. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's just that's why I like. What do you understand? I'm Ken. I'm glad you're here because these guys always corner me. You know. They corner me. They corner me. They corner me, and then they make it sound like, Joshua's gonna.
Listen, I love Kenny Ken.
Joshua's whiskers is what makes
I still disagree with him about
an even fight.
AJ, I still disagree with him. It's what it is, isn't it?
Listen, it's whiskers.
I think about it, right? All that happens is these fights happen. These guys still manage to keep it together, and we just have to. We just have to wait and see. The one thing about Wilder is that he better beat Fury for his own sake because I don't think he's made enough money, pay-per-view wise, as he would have liked being the champion. So it'd be good for his kudos if he beats Fury. How he beats Fury, only he will know. But I sincerely hope that he doesn't. He keeps Mark Breen in his corner and gets a bit of help and gets some genuine help.
Agreed.
In his corner, get a second pair of eyes like Dillian Whyte has done with this fight, and say, "Look, this is what you're going wrong." Because the other day, fighters cannot train themselves. Chris Eubank Jr. just trained himself in these two big fights against George Groves and Billy Joe Saunders. He lost fights which he could have won if he had a proper trainer.
He could have won, yeah. He could have won. The Billy Joe one, he could have won. Like you say, if he had the right training, you know, getting Chris Eubanks trainer. Chris Eubanks Senior didn't listen to my man. Never mind Junior. You know, that guy is there for effect. So you're right. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. Hold on, I need you here, brother, just to even it out.
Hey, we haven't even talked about the fights yet.
I know. We'll get there. This is boxing. This is boxing.
We always go all the way around.
Yeah.
So what do you both think about? Look, obviously, Kenny Ken mentioned it, the fact that Dillian Whyte changed his trainer, because it was a surprise. You do that halfway through, presumably the camp for this, and you decided to change your trainer. But the one thing I would say, initially, I was really panicked about it. And then I heard what Dillian Whyte said. He basically had, 6 months out in Portugal, and he needed someone there with him. Whereas this, obviously, his previous trainer, Mark Tibbs, wasn't there the entire time with them.
That's all it was, Chick. That's
basically what it was.
That's all it was. It was nothing to do with what Mark Tibbs. I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Tibbs is brought back into the fold because it was brought back in the fold to work alongside them this other trainer, because the simple reason is that when Mark Tibbs is that, it's coronavirus, he's got isolate, he's got a young family as well, Mark, as well. So there's no way Mark Tibbs is going to, because basically it was a 7-month camp, wasn't it? As good as.
Yeah, it was a long
camp.
Because he initially trained for, I think it was June. Yeah. And then they moved the whole fight back because of Corona.
Yeah. So there's no way Mark Tibbs can justify that amount of time being around his family. So it was an amicable split and understandable split as well. Especially where Dillian, because the only facilities Dillian could get was in Portugal.
Okay. What about you? What do you think? Well, about to change the trainer.
Well, the thing is with like how Kenny Ken's just explained it and how easy it sounds when the media don't get involved.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? The media just always want to have a story to run on and make something out of, to start something. Do you know what I mean? To make the fight a little bit bigger. Oh, he ain't got his trainer. Let's see how he's gonna fare in that. Like this, you know what I mean? But like Kenny Ken just explained it, and it makes a lot more sense that way. I'm with Kenny Ken, so yeah, it won't really affect him that badly because he's already had the trade. Like he already knows what he has to do, and also he's got Coldwell there, ain't he?
Yeah, very clever. Doing that made me feel a lot better when I saw that.
Yeah, he made me actually like Tony Bellew in the end. He made me like Tony Bellew in the end. Do you know what I mean?
I still don't like it.
No.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, because you could like when listening to if Bellew's fight was coming up. Listening to him and then watching the fight.
Yeah,
you sit down and go, you actually are a genius.
Yeah, the number they do in Hay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I could see.
Not even Hay. It's all the fights.
No, true.
Yeah, just watch it. Just listening to him. Right. But I just feel like. Go on.
So you think about Dillian as well. He's got to remember that Tony Bellew for shape a few before he was world champion. His actually condition was an embarrassment. Yeah. I mean, one time me and my wife went to Liverpool to watch him fight in Liverpool because it was basically on the undercard of the Callum Smith fight.
Yeah. I remember
2015.
Yeah.
Who was he fighting?
Callum Smith was fighting.
He was fighting.
It was unmemorable. Seriously. It was unmemorable. I was more rooting for Callum Smith at the Echo Arena because he's fighting. Who's that? The guy that George Groves fought after he lost the Cross fights. He's a French fighter called. It begins with I'll come back to it. He's fighting a French fighter, super middleweight, fought George Groves. He was a European champion, but George Groves won the European championships of him. Anyway, Callum Smith beat him with a body punch. Anyway, that's what I remember. Right? But I remember me and my wife looking at Tony Bellew when he went for his ring walk, and he actually came past us, and all I could see was his back, and I said, Jesus Christ, did he actually train properly for this fight? What's this all about? And then I think since then, since the 2015, when he actually went and won the title in 2016, I think Dave Caldwell has been at him about his conditioning, his shape and his general fitness. And I think Dave Caldwell's there with Dillian Whyte because of their fitness issues towards the end. If you look at his fight against, Rivas, he got put down. Again, that was good because his conditioning wasn't the greatest. Obviously, understandable when he fought the German in Saudi Arabia last year. Obviously, he had that nonsense with the injustice with the WBC banning him for a test, a drug test that he never failed in the first place. So that's what Dave calls him. Another thing as well, what Dillian's got as well. The guy who used to work with David Hay, Taberas.
Yes.
Taberas. He used to work with David Hay as well, and George Groves as well. So he's got him in for his condition as well. So one thing they have spotted is Dillian Whyte's longevity in fights and in condition, because this could be a 12 rounder where anything can happen. And last thing you want is Dillian Whyte running out easily. Definitely. Well, we're going to get to the tactics in a minute, but there is a way that I think correctly can lose the fight. But in terms of Dillian Whyte, this is all about conditioning because he's fighting a live fighter. Povetkin, this is Povetkin's last chance at the big time. So Dillian Whyte has to be physically right, and having a longer camp actually suits him, because I think with Dillian Whyte, a lot of his camps, because his fights are never like concrete, he doesn't have the proper, training camps that like Anthony Joshua has. You know what I mean? He's he only has about under 12 weeks. With when you got someone like Dillian Whyte, who I believe refuels between fights, I think you need a longer camp than that.
Well, funny enough, that was why he said he didn't take when obviously Anthony Joshua fought in New York. That was why Dillian Whyte said he didn't take that fight, because it was like 6 weeks away when they were negotiating. He was like, well, I'm not going to have a 6-week camp for a world title fight. Are you mad? Which makes sense. All right, like you say, let's put that on pause. Let's talk about the co-main event, Katie Taylor versus Delphine Persoon. Now, normally, I would say that most people would be uninterested in a women's fight, but this was a barnstormer. If anyone watched the first fight, and many people thought that Katie Taylor got awarded the decision. Katie Ken, what about you? What did you think?
I think I'm always in the camp, right, that if you fight the champion, you have to beat the champion.
They were both champions.
Yeah, but I think all right, they're both champions because obviously she had the WBC belt. WBC belt. But what I'm trying to say is that when you look at Katie Taylor, she's like the poster girl of women's boxing, because if you have to look at her amateur records, it's frightening. Frightening. You Olympic champion, world champion, European champion. I mean, she's had many gold medals. She's probably only had one bronze, and that was early in her career. Yeah. So for Persoon to actually win that fight in New York last year, she has to win by some distance. Yeah. I think the reason why Katie Taylor probably got the decision is because she wasn't one of those fighters, right, who let people come forward and you just like pick them off, blah blah. Because I know a lot of US judges like aggression coming forward. But Katie Taylor was ready for a barnstormer. She said, all right, you want to fight? Oh, come on then. Let's have it. First one to swing gets it. And that's what it was towards the end. And I think that's why Katie Taylor managed to just keep her belt, because she showed aggression in defence. And I think that's the only thing that went in her favour. Personally, I thought she lost by a couple of rounds.
Me too.
But I was just about to say, but go on, because you were explaining it like you thought she won, but go on.
Yeah. But that's probably what happened. But Will, you may disagree with me.
No, I actually don't. And I actually watched the fight today as well. I actually spent time to watch it because I knew we were going to talk about this. So I spent all 36 minutes watching the whole thing. I can see why the judges gave it to Katie. I could see.
Yeah,
I could see why.
I must admit, I couldn't.
You couldn't. I could see why, because there was a lot of she swung a lot and missed a lot. Persoon missed a lot of shots, but she was swinging loads. Yeah, but she missed a whole lot of them. And Katie was catching her a lot. It was until the later rounds that she was catching Katie a lot. Like from round 6, it was much more. You could see it. You could see her. But still, Katie was in there giving her shots. Katie got rocked the last 2 rounds. I get that. But still, it was only single shots that rocked her. The rest were all being parried, going like they're not really hitting the right spot. If you get what I'm trying to say, Ken. So I could see how the judges gave it to her because she looked like she was just. I think it was round 4 or 5 where she was just every time she came in, every time Parsoon came in, check left hook out, check left hook out, check left hook out, and she won the first half of the fight or maybe first minute 30 seconds. Then Parsoon will start taking over for the last 30 seconds. So it would look like Parsoon had won the round, but Katie had done a lot of work in that round. There was a lot of that. If you watch it again, you understand what I mean.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah. So for me, I can see why the judges gave it to Katie, but even the end just told his story on his own. Even the last round just told. Even if they were going in on a draw, the last round alone just swayed it for Parsoon. And even when the bell rang, just look at her face. She was like, damn, I wanted to knock her out as well. Like, she was going for the knockout. Because at that point, Katie didn't even want to fight. She was just spinning around. And then as soon as the bell rang, Parsoon was like, damn. Really wanted to knock her the fuck. And I think that for me just showed you that she had more in her
and there's a little animosity carrying over. If you saw the step.
And then afterwards when they announced it, it was like, oh god. But I think if it was a draw all the way up to the last round, then Parsoon would definitely won the last round. Definitely.
I gave it 2 rounds. I gave it 2 rounds. I thought it was 2 rounds.
The 2 last rounds, but definitely the last round. Definitely.
So with
Nigerian,
that,
of course, Capone, Nigerian, of course. What can I say?
Wait. Hold
He's Nigerian.
Up,
don't try it. He ain't converting it.
Hold up. Oh, you're Nigerian?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. I loved you till then.
By the way, Kenny Ken with Capone, my man literally is here every week, has absolutely no interest in the fights. He just asked this question.
Think about it. I can only go by, I have to say, I'm going by my mum's cooking. Not because I know that I've been to some places like, when you go to like some weddings and funerals, especially Nigerian ones. And sometimes, right, when you see the jollof rice, you think, come on, man, this needs a bit of work. And the chick is even interesting. I think the chicken is like a rock. You can throw it, you know? You know what I mean? I like my chicken hard, but I like it soft in some centres. I said, why bloody bother? And most of the time, the chicken's purple anyway. So I see where Pitman's coming from.
Apparently, Ghanaian jollof is nice. I must admit, I've never tried it, but apparently it is nice. But hey,
a good friend of mine is West Indian, and she's my best friend ever.
No.
She reckons that Sierra Leone jollof rice is better than Nigerian.
New contender.
So she's West Indian, but she's had Nigerian jollof rice, and she's had Ghanaian jollof rice, and she thinks Sierra Leone is the best. All right, so I need to taste it.
Okay. New contender. Okay. Very alone. All right. So with all that being said, who do you think wins and why on Saturday? Let's start with you, Kenny.
Katie Taylor for me is in danger of losing this fight because I don't care what she's saying. She is completely wound up by Person is getting in her head. She's winding her up. She's basically winding her up by being everyone's friend around the camp. I mean, I've been watching a lot of the videos and like matchroom stuff and the fight specials. And Person and her family are like a pleasure to be around. And that is actually winding up Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is used to people saying, you're the best since sliced bread. and so basically she can't accept that people like myself, like I said, you Chig and you will think that she lost a fight. That's a massive gauge to ego. So what? An idiotic Katie Taylor is going to go and say, "Let's have it. Let's swap punches." And that's going to be difficult. Because you look what happened with Shannon last week. Shannon Courtney. Yeah. All right, she's not on a level, but she got emotionally involved with Rachel Ball, and look what happened.
True.
She got emotionally involved. Was fighting with her face. She thought, "Oh, I hurt her with the right hand." Didn't see left up, boom on the floor. 10-8 round in the first round. She was playing catch up. And that's what Katie Taylor doesn't want to do. If she uses her boxing skills, she wins this. But if she wants to scrap, then she better make sure she has her hands up, because she will get buzzed and she'll probably lose this on points because she'll get put on her ass.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And you know what? Well, this brings me on to a point I made with you last week. Maybe I approached that Vera fight with too much of a boxing mentality, because I said to you, remember I said to you, oh, he seems too emotional. But I feel like boxing is more about discipline. I know this is going to be controversial. It's more about discipline than UFC is. UFC emotion is not necessarily much a bad thing. Whereas with boxing, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute. Still can't hear you. You're going to come back in. Yeah, so I said, so Kenny Kenna, just to let you know, because we were talking about another fight. Yeah. And I think in my mind, because basically the opponent of this particular person was basically they were the next golden child. Yeah. So winding up this particular opponent, said it's just a stepping stone, this, that, and the other. He was undefeated. Saw the weigh-in. I thought to myself, oh no, it's going to be it may be curtains for him because it's too involved. And actually, he channeled that emotion correctly and actually knocked him out. And these guys, I was talking to them, these guys, about why I picked the guy who was the golden child, because not because I thought he was a better fighter, but just because I felt like this other guy was just too emotional. Whereas I think in boxing, it is much more important to harness that emotion than it is in UFC. In UFC, actually kind of helps. Whereas in boxing, it feels like, because it's so much about discipline, it's important to harness that and channel it in the right way. And I think you have a fair point in what you're saying with regards to Katie Taylor, because I feel like that could be her downfall. I agree. I think it could be her downfall.
The thing, Katie's got nothing to prove other than the boxing ability. But the thing about it is that if you look at a lot of her fights, she's a natural scrapper, mate. She was fighting boys. Remember when she was in Ireland? She was fight. She had to lie and pretend to be a boy. So she fought boys and race, and beat them. So there'll be a lot of aggression in her. And she's a natural scrapper. She's one of those people who said, "Oh, you buzzed me. Okay, let's have it then." That's
a calm type mentality.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that that's when she could be at her most, like I said, weakest, because she's fighting a live fighter. Oh, hello, Will.
Hello, I'm back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Is it better?
Yeah.
So who do I think is gonna win? I'm going with Katie.
Okay.
I'm going with Katie. I know she stands a chance of getting knocked out, but I'm going with Katie. There was just not a lot of skill from Barsoon for me. She was doing the basics, and
she's
Katie, and then but if Katie adjusts to it, which she can, if she shows boxing skills rather than heart, which she chose to do, then I think Katie can get this W. And I think Katie would have sat back and watched the last fight and thought, I could do way better than this. Way better than this. So we'll see.
I'm going to say Katie as well. Like you, I don't think Barsoon does anything particularly well other than being tall, imposing. shoots a lot of one shots, couple of two shot combinations. I do find it interesting that Katie's being tested psychologically, which I think is a new test for her. But I think they would have worked on her mental discipline apart from anything. I think she has the skills to beat this girl. I think it's just a case of this. If, like Kenny Ken says, she doesn't get into wars, I think she schools this girl for all 10 rounds. I think if she doesn't, and she gets herself into that kind of, like I said, that kind of Amir Khan mentality of, well, I was sticking to a game plan, but because I'm an idiot, I'm just going to allow myself to get into a war, then she loses this fight all day long. But I'm going to bet on her to just stick to a game plan. This girl is tall, she's bigger than her, just be clever. Box on the outside, just sail to a 10-round victory. She can do that. Hopefully she will do that and she keeps her belts. So we'll see what happens. But I like Katie because she doesn't really... I don't think she's arrogant. She's quiet. She goes about her business. But I do agree with Kenny Ken. She's used to being the girl. Keep in mind, she was the girl at amateur level as well. Everybody talked about Katie Taylor. Everybody. She becomes a professional. Everybody's talking about Katie Taylor. Is apart from Clarissa, she's probably your next most well-known female boxer at the moment. So,
I think she's more popular than Clarissa.
Yeah, I think so.
She's quite big in America, though. She's quite big in America.
Nah, I think Katie's the world, though. Katie's the world. Clarissa's only America. Katie's the world.
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose you're right. Yeah, I suppose you're right. So that's a lot of attention on her, and I think that would have checked her ego, especially people doubting her, and I think she'll put that right. So I'm gonna say Katie Taylor for that. All right, let's talk about the big one. We've already started to analyze it. Dillian Whyte versus Alexandra Povetkin. Will, who wins? Why? Give me your analysis.
Dillian Whyte, it won't go past 8 rounds, I don't think.
Okay.
It won't go past 8 rounds, I don't think. I think I'm going to put my hat on the line and say he'll probably do it quicker than Joshua did. We've seen these things happen before where a greater fighter has taken a longer time to break down of another fighter, and then another fighter who's lesser than him will go in and just do it within a round, and everyone will be like,
yeah. Brazil with Wilder, for example.
That too. That too. You could put that in, or you could put Spilker and Chisora.
Yeah, true. That's an excellent one. Yeah, that's
you get what I'm saying. So, that's what I was more aiming at, not your.
I know you.
Not your lip. Yeah. So, in cases like that, I am looking at that as well, and I just feel like Povetkin's done. He's been done for a while. You know that day where what's that coach? I forgot that coach who had a go at him. I know. Remember when that coach had a go at him in the corner? Like, do you want this fight? That's when I knew Povetkin was done. And he's won loads of fights after that. So
I'm kind of with
the big guys. With the big guys.
Do you know when I knew Povetkin was done? The Price fight. You know when Price put it down? I was like, oh no. If you're getting put down by... I know Price has a hell of a right hand, but come on.
Yeah.
It was actually a left hook that actually put Povetkin through the rope.
Through the right, yeah. It wasn't left. It wasn't left. Yeah. He does have natural power, Price.
There you go.
Sorry, go on. I'm interrupting.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. Then there you go. And you guys have just elaborated my point even more. There you go. Yeah. So for me, Povetkin's already done, and he's only there to. He's kind of like a gatekeeper in a way. He's kind of like a gatekeeper in a way.
Gatekeeper that doesn't know it.
Yeah. And also 39 years old. Come on.
I hear what you're saying, guys.
I know Ortiz is old, but 39.
Yeah, but you could tell he fights like he's 39 as well.
Yeah.
Ortiz, at least on the odd occasion, doesn't fight like 39.
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting. All right.
You thought I was gonna go the other way, didn't
I
you?
did. I did.
You thought I was gonna go against
I must
Eddie Boy.
confess, I thought you'd make it a lot harder for Whyte, even if you were going to pick him as a winner.
I told you, I use my head. I use my head, not my heart. I use my head.
No matter how much you hate Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mr. Kenny Ken, what do you think?
The thing about this fight, right, is that the good thing about this fight is Dillian Whyte has a lot to lose.
Yes.
Povetkin's got so much to gain.
Yeah.
So much to gain in that fight. If you look at Povetkin's skill set, he's better than Dillian Whyte's. He's like he punches correctly. His feet are good. One thing about Povetkin is
much longer.
The one thing about Povetkin is that the reason why he gets done by a lot of left hooks is because he stands when he throws that right hand.
Yeah,
it's like he's and if he doesn't connect to that right hand, and even if he does connect, it's like he's square on. Yeah. So the left hooks wait for him, and I think the thing is though with Povetkin, he actually trains not to receive the right hand, but he never sort of trains for the left hook. So. Wow. Can you teach an old dog new tricks?
Nada. Nada.
So you look at some of these he's got Olympic golds. He's had 80 amateur fights. He's only lost twice professionally. Being a world champ, where he's basically got away with fighting that way. All of a sudden, he's fighting one of probably the best left hookers in the business.
In the heavyweight.
Yeah, heavyweight. So the thing what Dillian Whyte's going to have to do is that Dillian Whyte needs to not throw the right hand because he's not catching Povetkin with the right hand because Povetkin trains for that. Because what Povetkin wants Dillian to do is throw the right hand, he ducks in and does the overhand left hook, which can buzz Dillian. So what Dillian needs to do, he needs to throw a few combinations and use the right hand only as a leveler for his left hook. But what Dillian Whyte needs to do, his defense has to be great, and what he needs to do is basically don't get to Povetkin's level because Povetkin wants it to go low, so he can come up and whack. He wants it to throw that right hand so he can duck and go up. So what Dillian Whyte has to do is use his reach advantages, box and punch in clusters. Don't try and punch one punch dance because that's not going to work with Povetkin. If he uses the right hand as leverage, Povetkin tries to avoid it and stand square. Get that left hook in because once you hit him on that left hook, he's all over the place. His hands go up. You see what happened with Joshua. He gets hit with the left hook, and his hands are like this. They're as wide as anything, and the chin says "hit me." So, if you look at the first knockdown against with Anthony Joshua, the left hand opens him up, and he comes up in pain, and Joshua hits him with the right hand. He's on the floor, and then the stoppage, the same thing. The left hand opens up, then the right hand, and he's out. So you've got to get in that situation where you've got to time that left hook, but you have to use your boxing skills because the first few fights, Povetkin is going to, like I said, come out storming because he's going to try and knock him out in the third and fourth round. So he's going to use his punching power and he's going to try and use that left hook. So Dillian Whyte's got to be very patient and resilient, and like I said, plant his feet and bite his teeth together because he's going to get hurt in that fight. But he overcomes that. He beats Povetkin quite comfortably in the 7th or 8th round.
So okay, I've got one thing to add on top of everything else we've said. I think like also boxing history, right? You listening to everything else that's going on. I've never really heard about Povetkin being in like gym wars or anything. Like you don't really hear no stories about him being like that, do you? But you hear a lot about Dillian in wars with people in the gym, like going out sparring hard and crap like that, right?
Yeah.
This fight is gonna be like it's in the gym. Remember, there's no fans. Okay. Dillian's used to that. From what we've heard, Dillian's very, very, very used to that. That might play a big role as well in tomorrow night's affairs. I think that might play a big role.
I hear what you're saying, but you got to realise one thing as well is that he hasn't got the advantage in which is the disadvantage for Alexander. That Dillian hasn't got a partisan crowd behind him. You know what I mean? So that can help. That can help Alexander as well.
That can help. I can help. I think it's very similar to you guys. I think that although, like you said, I don't think Povetkin normally trains to receive a left hand. I think they would have at least attempted to drill that in. So I think for the first half of the fight, at least, he'll be trying to be switched on. Take the occasional left. It'll be a warning sign to him to remember to switch on. Remember that left. But like you say, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
New tricks, yeah.
I think eventually, the one thing I will say for Dillian Whyte that I don't think he gets enough credit for, he's extremely patient. He's a very patient, but when he's switched on, he's very patient. The one thing I would say for the Chisora fight that I liked was that he never panicked, because he was behind in both fights for me. He was behind in both fights, but it's particularly that second fight. He never really panicked. For me, Chisora was winning the fight. But
what about the first fight? I thought Dillian Whyte won the first fight.
I thought he won the first fight, but I thought he was behind at parts of that fight.
Yeah, I think with Derek Chisora in those two fights, Derek Chisora was what I call a one-punch stand. Derek Chisora lost the fight because there was no combos. Dillian Whyte was doing combos. Plus, he was doing a one-punch stand, and he was catching a lot of the Derek's punches. When he did catch Dillian, he wobbled him, but he wasn't wobbling him in combos. It was wobbling him, and that's why probably a lot of fans gave him those rounds. But in terms of the better work in both fights, I still had Dillian Whyte winning that. And it's a shame that people thought that he was behind, and he needed a left to win that fight, because I thought the better work was done by Dillian.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've just got this feeling. I've got round 9 in my head. Round 9 feels like the round. I feel like it'll be a late-ish stop. And the only reason I say that is just because I think that, it'll take, I think Dillian Whyte, for the simple reason that he's patient, I think we'll wait for the opportunity before striking. And then I think that left will come to him. I'm going to predict a left KO, Dillian Whyte. I think his youth, I think what's on the line, I just don't see him being denied. I hope it isn't.
I think
Will knows I'm emotionally invested in this one. Dillian Whyte's my fight. So I really badly want him to win this fight.
Do you know what I think about Dill as well? As much as you say he is a patient fighter, I feel like he fights according to what you give him.
Possibly, yeah.
He fights according to what you give him. So if he feels like, okay, you're slow, I could take my time with you. I don't need to rush it. Yeah. If he feels like you're dangerous, he's coming for you. And that's what he did. That's what he did with Parker.
True.
Yeah.
True.
He thought Parker was dangerous, so he put it on him straight away. He did not waste no time at all.
Even headbutted him.
He put it on him straight away.
He got a first knockdown with a headbutt.
Do you get what I'm saying? He was doing everything he could to just.
It's a fair point you're making.
Yeah.
And it's important to recognize, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, Povetkin weighed in 16 stone something. Dillian Whyte weighed in 18 stone 6, which actually for Dillian is a great weight. He's not been that light in a while, but obviously there is a weight difference. So he could just decide to just smother and put it on him.
Yeah.
Which is true. I didn't think about it like that.
I think that's what he's gonna do. That's why I'm calling for it early. That's why I'm calling for it early. Joshua, yeah. You remember he's got the belt, so the pressure
is a little bit more higher. I don't know.
It's much more calculated. When you're getting hit by Povetkin, you start thinking about what you're about to lose and everything, because the name in front of you and everything like that. So you're much more calculated. Dill don't give a shit about anybody, does he? He don't give a shit. If he had a belt or not, he's that kind of a guy who doesn't give a shit. Really.
So true. You know what? You make me laugh, because that's. Talking of Anthony Joshua, what the Sam Hill was he doing at ringside? What was he opening the game?
I don't understand that.
What's he playing at? Is there going to
be
some
sort of Fury Wilder fight? I'd understand, but
he's never going to do a Wilder fight. He's never, ever going to step close to. Why do you think? You think about this. Ken, please tell them this, right? Why is it, that a guy who's asked for a fight for so long, regardless of whatever's gone on, regardless of whatever we know, regardless of whatever we heard from Eddie Hearns or whatever, right? Well, Tyson Fury's come and made a fight with the guy easily.
Joshua don't want it because he knows he thinks he's.
Thank you very much.
He thinks he's gonna get, but he doesn't think he's gonna get buzzed. He thinks he's gonna be knocked clean out.
I don't think it's Joshua.
Well, it's Edward.
Yeah, I don't think it's Joshua. I think Joshua would want the fight. I just think Eddie's thinking I need my pockets lined up.
Do you blame Eddie though, man? Do you know
no, I don't. But this is the problem.
You know how many people are going to lose their jobs?
I've asked him that before. I said,
but this is the problem. Yeah, this is the problem. Eddie will go on and say, "Oh, we've offered him money, and he wouldn't even get nothing. Nobody knows him." Like I said to you, it's not about the belt. It's about the fight. Whatever happens, yeah, we will talk about the fight in years to come. We're not going to think about the belts or anything. He won this belt or won that. We're going to think about the fights. Do you remember what belt Sugar Ray Leonard won against Marvin Hagler? No, you don't. You only remember the fight, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I've been saying for a long time. It's not about that. Get there, do the fight. Oh, he needs to be popular. He needs to come round to England, fight a few fighters. No! What do you mean? I've got the WBC belt, and I need to come get popular in your country. No, let's fight. Let's do this fight now. Let's get it done now, and it's over and done with. Fury came, done it. Guess what? We're calling it one of the greatest fights ever. The first one. We're calling it one of the greatest fights ever because it had everything in there. Fury got knocked the fuck out cold, and came back and won the fight. Come on, look at what Fury has gained from that. Look at where Fury was before all of that. All he did was sign on the dot to fight Wilder. That's all he did. That's the only difference. But we have Joshua still going on about, they don't want to make the fight. They don't want to. Then Eddie comes as well. We offered them. But then the Fury gets a belt straight away. We'll sign quickly. Get the fuck out of here.
You see, it comes from medium. I hear what you're saying. But why would someone like who's a world champion, WBC world champion, got a prestigious belt, Simon Dessoud, to go with Joshua and Joshua gets 60% of the money and Wilder gets 40%? Why would Wilder leave leave PBC to go with Dessoud and be someone's running partner when he's meant to be the main man? It was the right decision for Wilder not to get in bed with Dessoud.
Yes. And everyone, and Ken, please tell them. Everyone keeps going on about, Wilder had all the belts, Joshua had all the belts. Which belt is the most important belt?
The most important. They say the WBC. They say the WBC.
And who had it?
Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. The most important person with a belt, was being told to climb hoops to get a fight with the guy with the belts that don't really matter. Come on, guys. And nobody smelled the coffee.
I don't agree with the fact that the guy doesn't matter. My man's holding for 3 of the belts. He obviously matters to an extent that the man wants to fight with him. So he obviously is the cash cow in that situation.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. For me, that's just my
I'm just saying. Who's the best heavyweight at the moment in time? What did he have to do to get that? What did he have to do to get that title? What did he do to get that title?
Beat Wilder.
Okay, that's it. Your boy couldn't do it.
I would have told you that before they fought. Yeah. I would have told you that before they fought. I told Kenny Ken for me when they fought that I felt that Fury would beat him. I still think Fury beat him in spite of
what with the first time. What before?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I always thought Fury was the best heavyweight. Always thought it. Just because I hope that AJ can do something. And I'll happily admit it to you. Part of it is a partisan thing. You're gosh damn right. But I'll also tell you that Dillian Whyte is my guy when it comes. You want to ask me who I actually want to win something, because I feel like he's the one that's waited around, earned his shot, 1,000 days being number one and not had a damn title shot. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Best question of the night, chick. Dillian Whyte versus Joshua. Who you?
I knew you were gonna ask me. No, anyway, we're about to end the show.
No.
Hey, Will, Chig, were you on the show with me and Sam Cooke?
No.
Right. No, we're on Claude's show, right? And Sam Cooke, right, is a very good friend of Dillian Whyte. So he's a little boy, although his family's from the East End. And Sam Cooke has Dillian Whyte beating AJ in a rematch. He said that Dillian Whyte, a fitter Dillian Whyte takes care of business. And he explained that Dillian Whyte in the first fight basically got through AJ's defensive, actually picked apart AJ's deficiencies when he was unfit. Now Dillian Whyte's a live fighter. That's what Sam Cooke told me.
Do you think Whyte beats AJ?
Yeah,
he can beat AJ.
Yeah, no, I think he beats him now.
Remember, he knows that beat AJ because he did it in the amateurs.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's just watching how Whyte fights. Like I said, AJ right now has got a lot to protect, and you saw how he reacted to his loss.
Yeah,
fought very, very carefully. And like I said to you, the only reason, that he won that fight was because Ruiz didn't have no reach. Yeah. Place someone who's got reach against Joshua. Let's see how he boxes around. Let's see. Let's see how he does. And
plays in that part of the tactics.
But Whyte, no. Listen. I know you don't do this partisan thing. Yeah. Whyte,
bro. If I know that someone has a certain amount of,
I know what you're saying. But listen. Whyte is not scared to take a punch to get in. Yeah. What's his name? Ruiz wasn't. He just couldn't get to what's his face. He just couldn't get to it. Arms were too short. Just couldn't get to him.
The exact point you're making is why I think, and I don't know if Kelly Ken agrees, and I know it's a controversial opinion. That's why I think Whyte beats Fury. That's why I think Whyte beats Fury.
Yeah, but with the Fury thing.
Yeah,
that could happen. But I'm on about Joshua. He still took shots from Ruiz. Took shots from Ruiz. He took shots. Then he done that whole what?
He took a shot. Him.
Yeah, his punch resistance was. I think what's happened, right? Joshua, because of what happened in New York when he fought him in Saudi Arabia, he fought the perfect fight. But even when he was well ahead on points, you could smell the panic from Eddie Hearn. You could smell the panic from Ken. You could smell the panic. You can smell the panic around the whole country as if to say, stay out of his way, don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't let him punch you. If he taps you, you're going to go down.
No, Will, don't try. And again, as John said, panic from other people, not from Joshua. Which is
and
I
was thinking, as an angle here, what is going on here? What is going on here? He's winning the fight. Ruiz can hardly lift his hand up, and even if he does hit him, he hasn't got the power to hurt him because he's tired and out of shape. Yet the panic around Carl Froch was panicking, Belly was panicking. Adam Smith was panicking. Eddie Hearn was panicking. What's going on here? Ken, what I said after the fight was, after this fight, I actually feel like, from now onwards, Joshua can easily get knocked out. Did I not say that?
You didn't say me.
Yeah, but no. I know about Chick. And then you guys said, but he won the fight easily. He won, and I said, look, the way he fought, if he fights someone with a little bit of reach, he's fighting like he's scared. If you're winning the fight,
he's doing what he needs to do.
No. What Ken just said. No. I know. What Ken just said. What Ken just said, just listen to what Ken just said. When he was ahead, nothing. Ruiz couldn't even raise his arms, and he got hit a little bit. Everyone was like, "Ooh!" I was like that, and I'm saying, give it to someone with a little bit more, reach, a little bit much more in the tank, and Joshua wouldn't have been stood there. But he would not have been stood there.
Tactics for other people. This is why I don't agree with what you're saying. He clearly assessed that was the way to beat Andy Ruiz. Rightly or wrongly, it turns out rightly because he got the job done.
Yeah.
And if that was someone else, he couldn't box like that. He ain't boxing like that for anyone else.
One thing Anthony's got in his favour, he's finally realised that I can't be a Frank Bruno type with all this muscle and all this metal in my body. Fight like a fighter, and he's managed to trim down.
Yeah.
So that
I'd like to see
one thing he has got in his favour is that it will help him with his feet movement and his speed of hand and foot.
Because he does have slow feet.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, Will. You're talking about up here. It's up here. I've been buzzed, and if anyone hits me around that temple, oh shit, what do I do now? A bit like Frank Bruno back in the day. What do I do now? He's hitting me with a tune. But I think Anthony's a bit better than that. Yes. I don't think. With all due respect to Frank, he's a flat track bully.
100%. He was a domestic.
I think Anthony's a lot better than that. You can only tell. Look what happened against Klitschko, who was a very fit 41-year-old. Yeah, he was 41, but he's very, very fit.
Had him for 2 years. Let's put that 2.
He buzzed him, put him down, and he was ready to go. But he found a way to survive psychologically. I don't get it wrong. People like me and my wife were in the crowd at Wembley, were cheering him on and screaming, and I might as well be in his corner, me and my wife. Because even though we're in the gods, even though we're in the gods. But the thing about it is, Anthony's better than that, and I think him streaming down is going to help him. Look, you got to remember, you are going to if you're heavyweight, if someone buzzes you, are going to go down. Look, Tyson Fury, he's buzzed by like Wilder. He found a way to carry on. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. You just have to have that mentality to realise, yes, I may be better than this guy, but he can knock me out. And
the only difference with him is you could tell how scared he gets. You could just tell. You could just tell.
Only because of what happened to him last year in New York. That's only one thing.
Yeah, but is this going to happen every fight? But listen. Only because of what happened to him in New York. But is this going to happen every fight?
Well, we don't know yet until he fights again. We hasn't fought against him.
All right. Say he fights Pulev, who's a light fighter, who's won a championship. You know,
he's old.
Maybe he's old, but Pulev generally believes that he can walk through Joshua and beat him because he's seen Joshua lose to Ruiz. So I've got to look at the bigger picture. If Anthony Joshua has got any psychological problems, well, he needs to sort them out big time because his career's on the line. And I've got 100% belief that he will do that. And I think what's happened is that he took Ruiz lightly, didn't respect his record, didn't realise that he's only lost once, and that was only on points, and that he wasn't put down. The only time he was put down was by Joshua in the third round, that left hook. So Joshua didn't study his fighter properly, but he's studying the second fight. So you've got to realise that Anthony Joshua realises now he's infallible. You know what I mean? He's not infallible.
But I think that will do him good because he clearly thought he was Superman by the way he boxed Ruiz. And then when he got tagged by Ruiz, he realised, this big guy's come to win. So I don't know what you're doing. You can't just skate through that. That's why, for me, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened to him. Because and it taught him he needs to prepare for every single fight.
I'm not glad it happened. I'm not glad it happened at all.
Because you think it's destroyed him?
Nah, because not that. Because they kept him away from my guy. I wanted Wilder to fight him. And as soon as that happened, that was Wilder off the card forever.
Maybe so. But don't you think that the reason why he lost to Ruiz is because he was thinking about the fight in front of him. He was thinking about, if I win this, I'm gonna. Well, I can't. He thought about fighting Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and probably Dillian Whyte, which is probably like the loose change option. But there's no way let's get this into perspective. When Joshua hit him with that left hook, I thought Joshua was going to finish him off. I was just astonished as anyone when that knockdown turned on its head, and he was knocked down twice in that same round.
Yeah, and round. It was just like what?
And let's be honest. The other knockdowns weren't even as hard as the first one. The first one was the one that did all the damage. The other ones were just
it caught him on it. Well, that's the thing. When you fight a short fighter, the way the short fighter knocks you out is when he reaches over and he hits you with the overhand. Because when a short fighter hits you with the overhand right, you don't see it coming. I don't care what anyone says. You don't see it coming. You expect a short fighter to jump up. You don't expect them to just do that.
True.
You know what I mean?
kind of like Fury against Wilder in that 12th round, where you think, all right, you're gonna get up, I'm just gonna knock you straight back down again. Fury just thought, no, I'm stepping forward, which would have surprised Wilder. And I would have thought, what?
Did you notice? I don't know about you guys, but did you notice that when Wilder was ready to go, that Fury buzzed Wilder, and Wilder was on magic legs, and his head was glazed, and then Fury just ran out of steam. Wilder was ready to get knocked out that fight.
Well, which one? The second one or the first one?
The first one. The
12th round. Are you on about the 12th round?
Yeah.
Saw that. Wilder was on Queer Street. Nobody noticed. Nobody spoke about it, but Wilder was on Queer Street.
And Fury mentioned that. I had him in that 12th round, but I was too tired to take advantage.
Yeah, to be fair, he was out most half of that round. So
yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but he won. It's funny. He got up and won that round, and that's what I expected all boxers to do to Wilder. Every boxer, from the most basic guy, because Wilder hasn't got the basics. Do you get what I'm saying?
The thing about it, right, is that the heavyweight division. The reason why heavyweights can fight well into their 40s now, because they don't have trouble making weight. Making weight. And two, like, if everyone says Joe Joyce can't punch, right? But Joe Joyce, if Joe Joyce catches anyone cleanly because of his size, they're going on the floor. They're going out cold. They're going.
He's losing to Dubois, though. He's losing to Dubois.
Well, you need to speak to. His boy. Not Sam. No. You need to speak to David Price. David Price thinks Joe Joyce will win because Joe Joyce is heavy-handed and he fights in clutches. But you know what it is that Joe Joyce has fought with David Price in the amateurs, and I think when you got someone like when you got fighters, right, who've got a great amateur career, they tend to think that transcends into the professional ranks. Yeah. I mean, look at Luke Campbell, fantastic amateur career, won Olympic gold, but at the highest level.
Can't get the world title. It's a
little bit short because I was at the fight. You know, it was actually on the bill of the Joshua and Whyte bill when he actually got taken out by that French.
The French guy,
French
Mendy or whatever.
Mendy took him out, put him on his ass, and because he put him in last, got a 10-8 round, he beat him. So it's a hard transition. Plus, he's in the same weight as Lomachenko.
Yeah.
So it's not always. It doesn't always transcend.
You seen his next fight? Have you seen his next fight?
Who's that? Luke Campbell.
Yeah, he's fighting Ryan Garcia. It's been agreed.
For the title, isn't it?
4 days ago or something.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Luke.
I don't know how Eddie Hearns got that. But I applaud him for that one.
The Zoom match room, and he can actually, and Eddie Hearns. Well, Eddie Hearns basically achieved the impossible. He's actually managed to get fighters to agree to take less money. And he's managed to
see a Golden Boy.
I think it's with DAZN, isn't it? Yeah.
No, Golden
it's
Boy.
Golden Boy, yeah.
But DAZN Golden Boy is all of them.
Yeah. But I think with Eddie Hearn, and plus what he's done is that he's managed to get people like me to pay 20 nearly £25 to watch tomorrow.
That card is perfect from the 2 fights. So it is.
Yeah. And if you look at Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn's the biggest con man ever. If you take away the main event, some of his cards, you think that's not a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What?
This one being an example. I agree. That I agree with.
And then he'll put it on pay-per-fucking-view. That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah, but
pay-per-fucking-view for two fucking fighters. Are you fucking kidding me?
I paid for it though. That's the thing. I'm such a boxing nut because I can't get to fights now around the country. I'm paid for it because I'm not like you guys. I can't do streaming football or streaming boxing. It's alien to me.
I've got. I don't even stream Eddie's stuff. I'll just listen to the results afterwards. Unless a big fight. Unless a big fight.
That's what you'll
Unless
do.
a big fight. No. Maybe I might watch tomorrow's, but like.
You like listen to Radio 5. You like listen to Bugsy. Bugsy. You're right.
I just hate putting money into fucking Eddie's pockets because I know it goes to fucking AJ's fucking pockets.
There's no way he's buying this fight.
I do. I really do. It's
Yeah, but see, do you hate Eddie Hearn because he manages to, like
everything you could think of, he hates.
Look. Let me put it this way: I hated him before Joshua came along. Joshua has just made it worse.
Do you hate Eddie Hearn because he basically had a silver spoon in his mouth, and it's really Barry putting all the money forward, and he's just like a smiling geezer with a nice smile.
That was that was the first one. That was the first one. That was when he first came in. Right, when he first came in and how he was talking and how he's gonna do this to boxing and he's gonna do that and he's gonna do this. I felt like yo, calm down, calm all the way down. Yeah, there's people here before you who fucked up royally by saying the things you were saying. So just calm down. And then as time went on, you just see the monopoly. And then he started little by little. This is where he started really, really losing me. He started shitting on Frank Warren's fighters. Frank Warren's fighters. Oh, don't go over there.
Do you know why? Do you know why though? I'll tell you what. All right. Me and I love to tell a story, but these are true stories. They're not waffle, right? They're not tall stories. They're not something you find on some Disney channel, like written by Walt Disney. These are actually true stories, right? I was at the prize fighter when Audley Harrison won it for the second time, right? And I was in the toilets, right? And because I'm a big lad. One guy thought I was a boxer, and he you know what he said to me? He went, "Oh mate, man, I didn't even introduce myself. He introduced himself to me. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm with Matchroom, mate. Anything you want, I could get tickets, blah blah, for you and your family, blah blah." And then I said, "Oh, how are you getting on?" I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh yeah, you see that fight over there? He was with Frank Warren." I said, "What? So why is he over with you guys?" Going, all these people leave Frank Warren because he doesn't pay them on time. Or sometimes these fighters don't get paid. That's why they get paid to us, because we always pay them we always give them what they ask for and pay them what we say they're going to give them, and we pay them on time. And that's why Frank Warren has a lot of private fighters. Look at Burns, like a Scottish fighter. He came to us because Frank Warren, like I said, broke contract because he didn't pay him on time. And that's why they're in court. This is his words. This is what I was told by a Matchroom executive and if you look in the books if you go onto just go onto like Company's House and you look at the books of Queensberry Promotions, there's actually you look at it and there's actually an element of truth about what that guy said. But that is Frank's fault himself, because Frank doesn't tend to embrace the casual boxing fan. He has
got the money.
He could get the money. He's got the sponsorship. He's got the contacts.
Yeah, but BT and Sky are different. They're different engines. But Ferrari.
But you got to remember, up until 2011, BT Sport, Frank Warren was the majority promoter at Sky, alongside. You remember Hennessy Promotions, which Carl Froch was with, were on ITV.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Frank Warren was sharing it with a lot of other promoters. Like Ricky Hatton was promoting himself, and all of a sudden, Barney Francis, took a look at boxing. And he was saying, "Well, hang on here, boxing. You're not producing us these great pay-per-view fights and these great shows. You need to get your act together." And then Eddie Hearn comes in with sales and fights. Said, "I could do this, in this. This is my sales pitch." Blah blah. And said, so Barney Francis, after 2012, said, "Right, I'm going to give all my all the TV schedules and the gate for Sky to one promoter," and that was a Matchroom, and that's why Matchroom have to deliver, because that was Barney. I suppose for casual boxing fans, that's the only good thing Barney Francis did as the Sky Sports Supremo. But that's actually what happened, and I think, and if you look at Frank Warren, remember he went Box Nation, now he's with BT Sport. But what Frank Warren's doing, remember he's made an offer to Eddie Hearn in order to get together. To produce his fights, Dubois fights Whyte, Fury Tyson, Edwin, so like Boatsy versus Yard. He's only cut because he's thinking, hang on, the coronavirus, blah blah, and it's actually a good idea. Some of these fights are not doable because of TV things, but there's a few fights that are doable. So I think that's where Eddie Hearn is done. He's actually given Sky what they want: 20 shows. And a few pay-per-views. All right, some of them are pathetic, but Sky are getting paid, aren't they?
True.
Sorry, Z.
True.
But ultimately.
So I hate the cunt.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for everybody watching. You guys were active in the chat room, flipping heck.
Boxing.
That gives me a message. I need to do more just boxing
Boxing.
shows. So I'll keep that, store that, and for next time.
You better make your Fridays. You better make your Fridays, Ken.
Yeah. I do my best. I do my best. Remember, you know, like I said, the last month we've had some really good. We've actually had some storm things. You know, Terry Harper against Natasha Jonas.
Oh, that was a fight.
And Terry Harper made the biggest mistake as well. Yeah. She thought, hang on here, this woman's buzzed me, and instead of using her boxing skills, thought, right, I'm going to go toe to toe with her.
Yeah.
And see.
Who do you think won though, Ken?
Yeah.
Draw's a fair result.
You thought it was a fair result?
Ooh, fair result. The reason why I go with draw
on the
because Natasha Jonas caught with some good left hands and buzzed her and actually had her like on magic legs. But if you look inside the exchanges, there was combinations coming from Terry, and she actually buzzed Harper. But if you look at the coming forward and blah blah, I could see why. It was a fight in favour of Jonas, but you have to do more than that to beat the champion, even though she's done a lot. And she could have done with actually a 10-8 rounds. She gets a 10-8 round, that's game fight over. And she actually could have got it when she actually had her. She had her in, I think, was it the 6th round or 7th round, where she was about to go. But because she was too tired to actually follow up and hit with punches. Instead of hitting with combos, she was ready for a little combo, then another left hand. But she said, and what Harper would have gone. She'd have been that cold. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing you've got to do against a champion. Knock the champion out. If you fight in Germany, knock the bloody German fighter out.
Oh, no.
German judges are the most corrupt judges out there.
I know, but Fury proved them all wrong. Fury
won.
Fury just went and dominated from. Didn't get dropped. He got touched in the 12th round.
He got tagged once, and that's what opened up the dash.
He chose to go to war with him. He was boxing him, and then in the 12th round, for some reason, chose fuck it.
Fury and David Haye the exception, and David Haye fought that value freak. For that freak value, one of the
most boring fights you'll ever see.
Apart
from that left hand that he tagged Valuev with, and that Valuev stumbled for a second.
I don't know. David A had just probably got on a ladder and hit him with the right hand. I think he'd have been that cold.
Yeah.
I think they would have needed about 4 ambulances to take him to hospital.
Oh, dear. All right, we are off, guys.
We're off, mate. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, anytime. Ola will beg me to drag you back when he's actually around, so I'll
definitely
make sure.
Hey, I think Ola's got a bone to pick with me because I've said a few things he hasn't agreed with.
So do I every day, and I live close to him. I live about 5 doors away from him. So so do I.
He lives up the road from Walla.
You should see our shows. You should see our shows. Go on.
I'm not going to miss it for the world now.
Nah, you should. I was speaking to my boss today because I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was saying, "Oh, I was watching your show the other day." Yeah, and we were just going on, and I said, "Yeah, Chig was happy about Stipe winning and this," and he goes, "Yeah, Chig," and I said, "Yeah, me and Chig don't get on lately because of a few," and he goes, "Nah, he's the referee." He goes, "Nah, Chig's the referee. You and Ola are you go back and forth, don't you? You just don't agree on anything, do you?" And I was like, "Wow, this is my boss saying it." You know,
I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to leave you with this. If people like Piers Morgan had his own way, we'll probably be watching reruns of fights happened 20 years ago, and we'll still be arguing about the result, even though it's conclusive, and saying the referee was a cheat, the fighter took a dive. But because we're not listening to Piers Morgan and his scaremongerers, we're getting live sport. So let's be thankful for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Big
I'm gonna see you guys soon.
No problem. We're gonna head off, guys. Take care. We'll be back next week.
Yes. Back strong. Easy.
Hey guys, nice.